All right, I'm usually talking about future events, shifts, all these amazing things that are happening right now, but today I'm going to talk about what's happening right now. If you are not experiencing what I'm about to share with you, it's not too late to get on board because everything's a choice. You do not have a future in stone. You're creating it. Now let's talk about that because there are things happening right now. I'm experiencing it. My students are experiencing it. It's pretty mind-blowing. I'm going to share some of those stories with you that just 1 hour with me talking. I didn't do it. They shifted. I'm going to show you today how that works, how you can do it, and how you can experience what I'm going through along with many other people out there who will agree that we are in a major positive transformation. You ready for that? Let's go. Welcome to Landria Onkka on YouTube, here to help you break through fears and live an amazing life. What does that mean? I think people believe that when we go into some great awakening, this major shift, that there are no problems, there are no challenges, there's no pain. And that's just not true, because this whole human experience that we call the Matrix, it's a holographic experience. It's amazing, it's beautiful, and we're creating it at every moment. In fact, the program itself changes with what we dictate into it. It's not some set prison planet and we're here and we're being punished. How can we be punished? We're creating everything. All the pain out there is being created by humans. There's no outside source doing that. What you're experiencing right now is a product of your own decisions and choices in every split second. There's no future. No future. And I'm going to talk about Edgar Cayce a little bit today in another video. There's no future in stone. So many predictions have not taken place that were cataclysmic. Why? Because we have shifted our frequency. What does that mean? We have gone into more expansive, positive space. We want to do things more in community, giving to others, service to others, because we're realizing that when we let go of ego's self-serving, me survival mode, and we go into giving, we are lacking nothing. We're not losing anything. In fact, that, let's just say, that frequency, that receiving that happens in that is so beautiful and amazing. And here's the important part. We shift into an expansive space where the ego's no longer controlling your decisions. And you're going into a space of expansiveness that is all probabilities. When you are here, you're limiting your probabilities. You're saying, I know this, and I know this, and I want this, and I want this, and you don't even know it exists out here that could come to you that you never even imagine. A person you never imagine, a job you never imagine, a new career, abundance. You could have health like that. I've been talking to quite a few of my students do deal with health issues. Why is that? It's disharmony in the body is a reflection of thoughts, patterns, and choices. And you might say it's the world out there. It's not. Why does one person have health and another doesn't? It's not luck of the draw. We do have control over that. Now, there are circumstances when people actually come here to experience that, but don't think that's you. Now, one of my students said this. I want to really clarify this. Who has cancer said, it's a gift. I said, no, I don't think it is. What? You know, she's trying to think positive. Oh, it's a gift. What am I supposed to learn from this? I said, no, it's something you created because you're in disharmony. Let's talk about where cancer comes from. Because let's clear that up first. And then if it's still there, you know, what are you going to learn from it? But it came here for a reason. It's a message. Everything's a message. Everything that's happening in your life is a message. And you can change everything based on that message, or you can say, this shouldn't be happening to me. And so I'm going to fight it, I'm unhappy, and you can give yourself all these reasons why. Because no matter how loving or giving you are, if you're resenting that and you're not feeling good about it, you're still on a low frequency. You're not giving freely. Unconditional is a big word. So we look at the health and we say, what's going on there? Because we actually are perfect, all of us. There's no person above or below you. There's no person out there that you think is evil that's below you. They are actually perfect light beings. It's the facade that you're looking at. And if you're judging that, you're in separation, and separation's what causes disharmony. separation, in disharmony in the body, it's not working as a community together again. So if we work as a community out here, when somebody has a need, it's met. When we go here and somebody hoards toilet paper and clears out the shelves, we got a lot of dirty butts out there because one person took it. When we distribute, and I'm not talking about some social, we become automatons. I'm talking about giving and loving in abundance that we have never seen before on this planet. Now what's happening right now is those of us who are going into expansive mode, and here's what I teach, breakthrough fear. If you guys haven't taken my coaching, I'm extending my 2-for-1 coaching. It's been amazing. It's just been absolutely wonderful talking to you guys. The transitions have been mind-blowing. I've had people within 24 hours email me and say that everything turned around. People that had these issues, all of a sudden, they clear up, they dissolve. Why? I didn't do that. I showed them another pathway to take, and they chose it. You get to choose. So when we go into this space, or this other pathway, we release the limitations, the fear, all this stuff. We observe it. It doesn't go away because you're still a human being. This is the part I want you to know. You don't go into some space, well, oh, everything's wonderful. We come from that. We didn't come here to experience euphoria and eat bonbons on the beach. I got a beach right out there. I don't want to sit out there eating bonbons. It's too hot. They'd melt anyways. So what do we do with that? We want to experience the challenges that allow us to be of service. So without the disabled person, there cannot be a caregiver. And it's equal. It's not just that them receiving something. The giving is what's so powerful. The person who tortures you at work or your neighbor or whatever, those are your best teachers. So you can call them a gift and all this stuff, and you can tell yourself this, but if it's painful, I'm sorry, but I'm not thinking it's the kind of gift I want to open. But I realize it's the kind of challenge that I don't have to be up against anymore. So you don't have to open that gift. You can say, I don't receive it. So if I give you a gift and you don't accept it, who's the rightful owner? The person who gave it to you, right? And so that's how energy goes. Right? If somebody's spewing energy, negative energy on you, and you're receiving it and you're spewing it back, there's this equal exchange of really nasty gifts. So cancer, all these other things, they are not necessarily gifts. They're your message that something has to change. Now, cancer pretty much comes from anger. That's a pretty solid pattern that I've seen out there. We cleared this up with this woman, and the messages that she received were absolutely outstanding. And she realized that she no longer had the anger. She let the anger go. How does that happen? She saw it differently. She saw it differently. And she realized she was so caught up in her own pain and me and how can you do that to me? She never looked at the other. She didn't go into the other, and this is the key part of this video. When you look at the other, you see the challenges and the pain that they're going through. But here's where the conflict comes in. They're just making choices, low density choices. So you don't have to. So if you go through challenges, your choices can be different. They don't have to be struggles. Struggles when you say it shouldn't be happening. When you go into that higher frequency and your world out there changes, it's because you made a different choice about that situation that was higher. So the neighbor, instead of they're the problem, you say, you know what? They're in a bad place. They're in fear. They're in anger. They're lost. I would never want that for somebody. The subject matters are relevant to me. It could be politics or this, or it could be anything. It's the frequency. I told a student, I said, I don't hear stuff. I see frequencies. So no matter what the situation is, if you're responding in a low frequency, you're creating that world, and it's disharmony. All right. So the people that are experiencing some amazing things right now, it's not that they aren't getting challenged. They are. They don't see it as a problem, and they use it as a catalyst for something, a new opening. They realize if there's a challenge, it's because I must break a pattern, a thought pattern, a belief, something, in order to shift into something greater. What is that? It's me doing it. So if it's relationships or money or anything else in your life, and name all the above, right? My thought patterns on that I have to release them if I want to see the change. And so these are not problems. These are not problems. It just is. It's what I've created. If I don't like what I created, I get to change it. So when you go into a higher frequency, you say, you know what? There's a solution to everything. And if I don't like this situation, instead of struggling against it, say it shouldn't be, just say, I can change it. That's all. I just change it. So I shift over here and say, okay, the neighbor is not a problem. It's a person in pain. Who's the problem? If I'm going into disharmony, I'm in conflict with them, I don't want to do that. If I go into harmony, I go into high frequency, my whole reality out here changes, and I go into that new earth. That's all it is. It's another dimension. It's a dimension, okay? We exist here as physical human beings, but I'm not seeing the world the same way or experiencing it the same way. And so what happens is the right people come into your pathway because you're tuned into classical music, not rock and roll. Hey, by the way, love rock and roll, nothing wrong with that. I listen to it sometimes. But I'm just saying that, when you tune in, it's really just that simple. So if you want to tune into this, you have to be that. You can't be in conflict, blame, or judgment and expect a different result. So when you send light and love to the neighbor or the boss or whoever, you don't have to hang out with them. It's very good for you to not accept that gift. I don't accept your negative energy, but I'm going to send you light and love. That's my gift to you. And so they will change they will change. They have to. Maybe not to the way you want them to, but they will change on some level because that energy field just shifted. So now they get to make a choice on how they respond. I had one of you had conflict at work. I've heard this was one of the predominant issues. Another person's the problem. I said, let's how you can't have conflict unless you got two doing this. So we shifted, and so all of a sudden, this was happening. Boom, right? And there was nothing to fight. So this relaxed. It didn't have anything to fight with anymore, or to prove, or to be, because they're in a different space. Don't analyze it. Just say, okay, that's their choices. So I don't have to argue with it because that's my ego, wanting to be right or wanting you to act different, or you're wrong, and then that's you're the one in conflict. Because the world's going to be like this until the day we leave, right? That's part of the program. So your new world that you shift into is 100% your responses and choices to what's going on out there. And therefore, it shifts. So the program changes, and all of a sudden, you're tuned in to the higher beings, the loving, giving, and the other challenges still show up so that you can be of service to it. So that's why it doesn't go away. It changes, and how you look at it changes. So the cancer heals, and now you are the teacher that tells people that when they let go of anger or blame or judgment, that the body will respond accordingly. And I know a lot of you don't believe that, and that's okay. So you'll stay in that reality. All things are possible. Miracles are. And so how do miracles happen? 2 ways. You completely let go of your control of how things should work, and you realize that there's nothing to think about, and all things are possible, and you don't have to understand how that works. Everybody wants to analyze that. Just drop the thinking. I know it's not easy, but just watch it like a cloud. Let it go. Miracle happens. Second thing is, you do believe that there is a separate power from you, and that it has more power, and that it can heal you. And you can heal that way because you believe it. That's how powerful you are. I believe somebody else is healing me. That's how healers work. You have to participate with them. All right? That's why they can't be 100% effective all the time. If you are not living in this higher world right now, and my world's shifting dramatically right now, I am now working on projects that I never imagined I would. Circumstances have put me in a space where I'm having to leave certain projects and shift my attention, and I realize it's taking me exactly where I should be, and I have no fear in that. So it's uncomfortable sometimes to have change. It's uncomfortable to be on your own, but you never really are. You always have a higher self. You and it are one. You're always connected. When you get out of the way with the thinking mind, it opens up and it starts to show you everything. But the ego thinks it knows. When you let go of the ego, it's thinking. Let go of the thinking. So I have my students in the Miracle Circle. Their assignment was, you must meditate every day. And some of you are doing it and seeing some massive changes. And in the beginning, you'll still want to think and analyze, and what should I do? You can't make a mistake. There are no wrong answers. Everything's a learning experience, and everything boils down to your choice. How am I going to think about this? What am I going to do? It's 100, that's it. That's all it is. And that determines your frequency, and from there, you either expand or you don't. That's why near-death experiences, people don't experience the same thing. They all go into the other realm. They experience what they bring with them, the energy field. So what's your energy field that you're creating now? Your life could absolutely turn around right now, because people are making money, people are flourishing, people are living simpler lives, and every choice you make right now counts. So if I contribute to the world in a destructive manner by using and eating toxic chemicals, plastic, all these things, I will live in that destructive world. So yes, it's not easy, because we have to, wean ourselves off of things, but you can do it right now. There's so much more you could be doing. So much more. Get the crap out of your house. You don't have to clean with chemicals. There's so many more healthy ways. If you want to be healthy, let's do that. I'll put a link to my my store, where I'll show you all the things I use. I don't even use shampoos and conditioners in plastic. You don't need to, and it's really cool. My detergents, nothing comes in plastic. I have tablets that come in paper, biodegradable. I'm making completely different decisions, and every time I have something I don't like, I do the research to find a new way, somebody out there who's making a higher decision, so I'm going to support them. So now our society supports businesses that are making higher decisions, conscious decisions, and it's not always the cheapest way, but it's the better way. You don't need a lot of stuff, right? You need really cool stuff. How many plates do you need, right? How many different sets of dishes? I got rid of I have a couple different sets of dishes, and I use all of them all the time, because I'm worth it. I use my best china. I use my best silverware. I use my best glasses. And I wear my best clothes and shoes all the time. There is no this or that. It's just what's proper for the occasion. Start treating yourself first class, because there's nothing you need to save, all right? There's nothing you need to save for what? Your casket? Let's live that higher frequency life, and then all of a sudden the message is, I'm worth it. I have abundance. I lack nothing. Simplicity is beautiful and pure, and it's quiet. It's quiet in that space. There's not a lot of clutter and thought and analyzing and judgment. There's just beauty, and you'll see the world different. And those people that you see, your friends or whatever, you see them go through stuff or say stuff, it becomes funny. You can actually find humor in it. I laugh a lot, probably more than I should at certain times. My students, you guys know this, we laugh at things that maybe a few months ago you would have been crying over. We find funny now. Laughter is a very high frequency. If you're not experiencing the new earth right now, it's happening. And it's a pretty powerful, accelerated transformation that's happening. And if you recognize what it is, still an earthling experiencing this, you'll see every challenge, every opportunity, every shift. You're going to welcome it, and you're going to say, I'm going into expansion. How beautiful to experience this. Don't miss out on it. So I would love your feedback. I hope that you'll sign up here. I've got some great stuff coming over, especially in business. This is going to change, because I'm going to send you to opportunities where you can be a published author and make money off of the KDP platform in a way you never imagined, even if you've never written a book. I want to help people achieve their unbelievable, impossible goals. Please subscribe and share these. I really need your support to keep these platforms going. And you know you're whole and perfect, strong and powerful, loving, harmonious, and happy. You are harmony. You are the higher self. It's not separate from you. Just get out of the way. Start listening to it. I'll see you there. Namaste.